So we're going to deal with the patty cake game. You know, we're suddenly here and we're both trying to get in position, right? And we're going to deal with some common ways that your partner, your opponent, grabs a hold of you and what to do. So I don't even know which ones he's doing. So in this one, both thumbs are on my thumb side and he's positioned down. Right? He's pushed my hands in and he's probably going to try to pass and get to here. Well, as he gets into that position, all right, well, let's first talk about release versus seize. If I want to release the thumb side, if I just roll whichever side the thumb is on, I'm not actually attacking the thumb, I'm putting the hand in a position to where there's a gap here and I'm coming out of the thumb side. So that's a very simple release for that, and you can go in and do various things from there. If I want to actually attack the wrist to get some sort of foundational posture change, I want to go to the pinky side. All right, I want to go pinky side for foundational change, thumb side for just releases. So I may do a combination of those things. I may come thumb side to get a release of this hand, pinky side on this hand, and then I'm right into your standard knee kick, right? So basically back to 6 basic principles of Tuite, depending on how he's doing this, both arms aren't probably completely straight. He's probably got a bent arm and a straight arm as he's trying to manipulate this. It's harder, not impossible, and again, posture changes are happening all throughout the course of this, but the straight arm is harder to do a wrist lock on. So if he's in this position right now, his right arm is bent, left arm is straight, so I'm going to do posture change and right into a tap out from knee kill, going to the outside. Just that kind of simple deal. So coming out, I release and I grab. I release and I grab. And it's like I want my thumb underneath and then I'm playing trumpet. I'm playing trumpet with my 3 valves on the top of the trumpet. I don't want to be just all 5 fingers up because then I've got nothing to hold onto his hand and he's just going to open his hand, release, and then he's going to be into something that I don't want. So we're here, I want to release, and I can even push towards his face and come in here. This hand's just waving at this point, and I've got this hold right here, right? And that can stay in this kind of Z-lock knee-kill position, or as he goes to the ground, I can let my thumb just slide into that high 5 position, and from here, I've trapped his elbow. I've got this kind of U-lock with the twist. There's literally nothing he can do to get out of this. If he tries rolling underneath, I just put that thumb that direction. Again, you're looking for a tap out, but you can always open that and go into, you know, some other hold depending on what you're doing. If you're in law enforcement and you want to do this, get to your cuffing position. But that's a very common way that we can do that. Again, one last time. That arm's bent, so that's the one ideally I want to attack. I'm going to release the long arm and attack the bent arm. All right, another kind of patty cake thing, let's turn to where they can see, is he's kind of in an upside down grip. He's got a thumb up and a thumb that's down. All right, so he has actually exposed the ulnar nerve here. The ulnar, the pinky side, is already exposed. So all I have to do is throw something over it. Well, I'm probably going to want to release this, so I can do that motion. I can do this motion. Doesn't really matter. I can actually, even in this particular case, just leave it the way it is and come. I'm going to come, prevent his hand from escaping, and come over the top. All right, so that's a very, if they come into this position, I just come straight over and drop my elbow down. It's very much this kind of motion. I'm touching and throwing that elbow over right there, right? Once I'm in, yeah, he's tapping. Normally, you know, if it's a bad guy, I'm taking him all the way down to the ground. In a match, you would probably take him all the way down to the ground, but I guarantee you, let's switch to the other side, just so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm here. Now, the more I crowd this, the better it is because it's bending his arm. All right, the more I crowd it, if I think about my elbow hitting his sternum, his xiphoid process, I'm going to get his arm to bend. Probably not going to actually bounce my elbow off of his chest, but it's going to get me in there a lot further and help that arm to bend. All right. Also, height disparity. If they're really tall, I've got a lot more work to do to get them bent. But I'm going this way, and then it's kind of hard to see on a video. Let go of this hand. I'm taking it out and around. It's a curveball. It's not straight. If I go straight, I end up pushing my forearm on his forearm, and really all he's got to do is let go and unwind, uncoil. But if I trap that and coil in, right, you can see he's padding before he's all the way to the ground. I'm trying to go slow and not hurt poor Stevie too bad, right? Again, straight linear motion's not very good. That time I did it a little bit different. Instead of bringing this hand to here, I brought this hand to here, right? Depends on what his focus is, all right? I would say that this hand typically is the stronger grip rather than the thumb down version. So you may be, you know, if he's really working this trying to come in, right, this hand may be really strong or it just may be really fast. So even if he does that last motion, right, he's in here, it doesn't, it makes it, he's in a more awkward position and it makes it even worse. So let's do that again and then just pause right there. So if he came here, now pinky is up on this side. So all I've got to do is attack that side. So again, you know, it's timing. The more you play with wrist locks, the more you're able to adjust and go to either side, really. All right. Double hand down. All right. So here, he's exposed both wrists. Posture changes, right? Go really, really tight, right? Most likely they're not going to stay in this position. They're trying to get somewhere else. But they're probably not going to be 100% square. If the more I relax and kind of move in one way or another, I'm just choosing my right side so I can face the camera. I could obviously choose the left side. But any posture change, and then I'm right smack into it. Again, I'm preventing escape by just putting one hand on the other. As tight as you can. Don't let me touch your hands. It just doesn't work that way. If they're thinking about fighting this, let go. This is not a strong, not a lot of people take 2 50-pound dumbbells and train this kind of deal. If you look at my shoulders, that's really a weak shoulder position. It's very hard for him to resist me just going there. So I come here and then I've got him in a wrist lock. Again, I'm going to go real slow so I don't tear anything, but I'll take them all the way down to the ground so we kind of have an idea of what happens here. Knees buckle, and I drag out, right? I've got that wrist lock. I can transition to other things, but you see I've trapped his elbow now. Again, the way people escape wrist locks is with their elbow, right? They do things. But I've got it pinned against that thigh. I can, even at this point, I can take this arm out and trap there. I can scoot in, and I've got him trapped here, right? Really want to mess with him, I can add the pinky in. All right, so when anybody is doing the Russian tie, all right? It's about seizing my neck, moving me off of my foundation, and their focus, this is just to keep me from doing stupid things like hitting them and punching them with this hand. That's really not their focus. Their focus is the frame here. They're trying to do something to get me in a position to either take my back, trip me, throw me, something like that, right? So this is not their concern, this is. First thing I really advocate doing is double C's, right? So he's coming into this position, he's pushing here. I'm gonna, one, focus his attention on that foot for just a second. He's wanting to get out from under my foot now, right? He's thinking about that. He's definitely not thinking about this, but I have also tracked this. Pinky side is the ulnar nerve, right? So all I do is come up, and now I'm gonna pick his nose, right? He comes in, he's doing this, right? I'll even drop my shoulder collarbone a little bit to help me get into this, right? And then I'm going to the outside. Again, he grabs, if I just want to release this and work on something else, I can reverse that and then he can reverse it, right? And we can just play this game all day. But if I go outside, even without the secondary grip, if I go outside, I can get a posture change. So all I'm doing there is thumb this way and pushing down, I get a posture change. Now, he can unwind that, he can escape. Yeah, exactly, he just opens his hand and he's escaped it, right? And we're right back to that. So again, touch, kind of crunch, and come up in between and grab. All right, now I'm just in Necktie. I'm just in your standard, every martial art in the world has Necktie. But it's thumb and C's. My thumb is underneath his index finger. I'm curling the pinky side, and my thumb is on top, and I'm able to take him down that way. All right, so again, he's come here. I'm coming into this position. All right, now, if you watch my head, I'm going to play violin. I'm going to put my head on the violin. I'm going to tilt that a little bit, which also kind of hard to see is as I seize this, I'm pushing here as well, right? So I'm kind of playing violin, I'm kind of squeezing. He still wants to frame a little bit. It's kind of awkward, right? He can't really frame. Push with your left arm as hard as you can. The more he pushes, the more it hurts, right? So now I'm going to go real slow so we don't kill him. I just take him straight down to the ground. Again, I want to seize that elbow. I've lightened his wrist so I don't hurt him too much. But if I'm here and he's able to release that elbow, he might be able to scoot there. But if I seize it with my foot, and then maybe even switch to this hold, then he's not going to be able to do anything. I can trap him there. I can switch hands. I can change it to a wrap. All sorts of things you can do from that position. He comes in and he's over my arm, right? He's over this arm, and it's making my hips do things that I don't want it to do, right? I'm nowhere near this hand, so I can't do Tuite there, but I do want to get to this hand, all right? But I'm going to need that moment. I'm going to need to correct my spinal misalignment, right? I want my thumb side towards me, and I want to push almost like I'm doing a forward elbow strike. As I come in, that changes his posture. Now I'm here, right? His hand is now in this position on my bicep, all right? From there, right, squeeze as hard as you can with this one, right? He's still doing that. All I did is I'm in this position and I go that direction. That is putting pressure on the ulnar nerve that way. So again, he comes in, he's got my balance, I need to correct it. I need to drive that in and drive the thumb like I'm trying to put my thumb in my ear, right? I'm here. My elbow is in his intercostal brachialis. You can look up the spelling on that later, right? Doesn't normally feel good. Not everybody feels pain. Rubbing it is usually somewhat unpleasant. Again, I'm not trying to create pain. I'm trying to change his foundational structure. I'm here. I've squeezed this. I've got my pressure, and now my body, as he grabs tight and he tries to do stuff, I'm just going to turn it in, and that other hand is going to go away, right? I can switch straight into high five, pin the elbow, and base out here. All right, so we've come into this nice deep position. He's getting ready to try some fun stuff. Now again, self-defense versus the rule set of BJJ, right? I want, again, he's got good posture and he's come in and he's messed with my posture. So I want to get to the owner attack, but I need to mess with his posture. Non-rule deal, I will come in and attack that neck on that side. If I'm in a rule set to where I can't use manipulations like that, I can't do single or two finger manipulations like I just did on his neck, I will go here, right? So yeah, he's got in here tight. I'm going to spiral this up kind of into a kind of a J-hook position. At the same time, I'm bringing this up here, right? So he's come in, I go there, and I've got this again. Now my leg is kind of in the way, so if I spiral and bring my leg out, almost completely off camera there, but you get the kind of point. I've got to attack his foundation. He's attacked my foundation and got me messed up. Again, my preference would be the pinky, ring, middle, index attack to get to here. If you're not allowed to do that for policy or rule set, it's go to here. All right. So he's driving me back. I'm going to spiral up, kind of like a J-hook, as I do this motion. Now I'm going to continue this hand down. I am preventing escape by attaching his hand, the back of his hand, to my ribs. If I just go here, that goes away, and now yeah, he's going to pick the leg, and I'm done, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to pin the back of that hand to here, right? And you know, obviously, again, if we're not playing with rule sets, there's lovely points all over the place. Now, my armpit, to keep this pressure and to get him to where he wants to switch from facing that way to turning, I've got to kind of buckle my front leg and push that armpit down, right? I've got to drive with that. Yeah, it's not pleasant at all. His wrist is getting pretty cramped here. So I'll go a little bit slower. Right? He's got my balance. I've got his balance and his wrist. Right? If I just try, his left hand right now is curling around my ribs, and if I don't do anything with my armpit, he's going to stop me from turning and putting further pressure. If I take this armpit and drive, really think about squeeze and drop my elbow and bend that forward leg, then I can make that work. All right, so we've ended up in this position. I want to keep pressure here, and again, rule set, if you're in some style where you can't use just your thumb, that sucks, right? Because this is so much easier to do if you turn this around. If you got that little strap there, if we're in this position and he's pushing up and driving me with that, if I just put that thumb in there, it changes his ability. It weakens him. It's not just about pain. It weakens him from being able to push forward. All right. Given you can't do that because of your rule set, that motion, right? I'm pushing across him, and there is downward elbow. This left hand's elbow pressure is pushing down as you do that, right? I'd rather use my thumb, but if I can't, I'm going here. My elbow is in this crease. Elbow is just a little bit inside. And again, all this is to mess up his foundation so I can attack the wrist. Foundation first, then the wrist. So he grabs and he's pushing in. I get that. Now his foundation is messed up. Now I just rotate. Again, just like all the others that we've done. Here, let's do it from this angle again. Again, that's what I want to do, but I can't do it. I get my elbow just a little bit inside and push, right? And we can play now. He tries just pushing. He's having to, the more he pushes, the more he's actually messing with his own head and neck. Now this hand circles around. Just drop down and I can transition right in there. If he starts to roll on me, I just slap his elbow back to the ground. Right? He tries to scoop in and roll face up. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I just got to get his elbow to touch the ground and we're good.